There you go.
How does he do that with his voice?
Which
JB.
is that the dead James Brown or the?
No, that's the current James Brown laughing at one of Bill Cowher's jokes.
I like it.
You got to watch out for that.
Right.
Let me know about your thoughts on the rejuvenated Redskins.
I mean, not just rejuvenated. You have to use some other words like unprecedented for this team. I mean, improbable or unlikely doesn't really capture it. You got to go further. I looked to see, whether or not Ewing theory had any potential application to this. I don't think it quite does because,
I don't think it works with a dead guy.
Right.
I was on pace for a very nice weekend. I won't expand on the details, but just a very nice weekend. We'll leave it at that. And then after watching that first half, I panicked and made some arrangements for that weekend to be cushioned if it didn't turn out to be a very nice weekend. And then it turned out that it was a very nice weekend, only my arrangements had made it not so nice. Did that make sense?
You're talking about cheating on the wife, right?
Remember when Seattle played there? Who was the cornerback they had with the black
dreadlocks? Well,
they had two of them, and I thought it was the same guy, and I thought he was all over the field.
That's right. It was Al Harris and Mike McKenzie, and you thought this guy was having the greatest game anyone's ever had. But when you look at that and you just look at the way his career has unfolded, and he's always gone for the best offer. Like back in the mid-'90s when Will McDonough was alive in the Boston, and he wrote for the Boston Globe, he used to call Roger the Texas con man, and used to say how he was always about the money. And like Will McDonough would just be in heaven right now if he was alive with this whole Clemens thing. But
he'd be in heaven if he was alive.
Yeah, that's one of the dumbest things I've ever said. What is the point of this whole process starting in Iowa and then going to New Hampshire? Just like, because you follow this stuff a lot more closely than I do. How are those two states the best two indicators of where America's leaning?
Well, that's just it. They're not. They're completely unrepresentative of America as a whole, and for some reason the parties are completely beholden to continuing to do it to have the first two, caucus and primary in those two states. And other states tried to get in early, like Florida and Michigan tried to do, and the parties penalized them for that because. And for the life of me, I can't really understand why they're so beholden to New Hampshire and Iowa, like what they think it gets them, because in terms of like the demographics and where people are, you get very unrepresentative nominees potentially. I mean, I think this thing should be decided like it was in the old days with guys in back rooms with big cigars that pick the best candidate. That bunch of smart guys in a room with a cigar and decide who's the best candidate for the party. So I'm somewhat undemocratic in that sense.
Right.
But letting people in Iowa, now I'm going to get emails. I got to be careful here. Letting people in Iowa decide anything aside from like what kind of popcorn I should eat, it's not something I would normally do.
Well,
I'm sure they're lovely, wonderful people there in the Midwest and Iowa, but I don't know if I want them picking my next president. It should be like the Final Four. Like there should be 4 regions, and they should just have like 4 super primaries, or maybe more than 4, but divide the country up into like huge regions where there's like a huge swath of the country that decides, and candidates would have to go to all those states within an area, and you'd have several months to work itself out, and then go to the next one, and it'd be much more representative that way. It'd be sort of a mini presidential election that you have to appeal to different states and different interests and people of different demographics, and
Johnny, I like that idea.
Nominee.
You know what? I saw this one doesn't make sense either. The number is 2.5. Number of times they have to empty Tom Petty's colostomy bag during the halftime show.
I got the over.
You got to go over there, right? It's a long halftime.
Complex litigation. This is John.
Johnny.
Hey, what's up, Willie?
New title.
That's impressive, isn't it?
I think you made that up because you thought we might be calling today.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. It was either that or male model. I wasn't sure which way to go.
You're really saying Best Buy customer service. This is John, but you changed it.
Burger King, home of the Whopper. That's right. That was my other option. I think Hillary's going to win Ohio.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling she's going to squeak out Texas as well. I think we're going to have 6 more weeks of a presidential campaign.
What did you feel about her? How'd you feel about her SNL appearance?
I didn't think it was too bad, actually.
Yeah, that was good too.
When she did the thing about when Amy Poehler's something about the campaign, and she's like, "Why? What have you heard?" I thought that was pretty good delivery, actually.
Yeah.
Didn't think it was bad. We got murdered, but I didn't think she was bad.
I think she's become man, I don't want to use the word sexy, but there's definitely...
I would hope not.
Yeah, well...
I certainly don't either.
He's the host of the Adam Carolla Show, which is syndicated all over the West Coast on the radio. He's got a movie coming out called The Hammer, which premieres March 21st in selected cities, and you can see what those cities are at thehammermovie.com. And also, and most important, he's Dancing with the Stars, starting Monday, March 17th on ABC, and maybe the most controversial decision any of my friends has ever made. So anyway, we're going to bring him right on. All right, let's bring him in. Adam Carolla, welcome to the show.
Oh, great to be back, Billy.
Thanks for fitting us in your busy schedule. I mean, this was sad. I actually had to make arrangements to lock you in for a half hour.
I know. What has the world come to that I need to shoehorn in a Bill Simmons podcast?
I know. And we won't be able to do a movie idea this time. We won't have time. You have to come back.
I remember the days when I would come by, lay down a podcast, and we'd grab a cold one, catch a matinee, then a nap, then a spoon, then another podcast. Then you'd ask me how I liked my waffles the next morning.
I know.
And now it's right off to dance practice.
Those days might be back in about a week. First of all, congratulations on renouncing your heterosexuality, as Kimmel pointed out this week.
Thank you. It was more of a denouncing of it, but either way, it's gone.
It is. You might be able to get it back in a year after people forget.
I feel like it'd be a fight in a year. I'm going to give it an Olympic season, and then I should be able to wrestle my sexuality back.
I defend you in the following way. You have this movie coming out on March 21st, The Hammer, which is really good.
Thank you.
You're doing what you need to do to promote it.
That's right.
Now, I don't think this is on par with, the last few years of John Holmes' career when he started doing gay porn.
Yeah.
It's probably a couple levels below, but you're doing what you need to do.
By the way, and just to let you know how straight I am, that box set of John Holmes, the later years, rarely comes out of the cupboard.
Right.
Rarely. On rare occasion. Yeah, what I'm doing essentially here is it's like you lift an eyebrow because you find out the woman's a prostitute, and then you realize she's only doing it to take care of her ailing kids and her sickly mother, and now you give her a pass.
Right.
That's what I'm doing. I am prostituting my heterosexuality out doing Dancing with the Stars, but really to promote my boxing movie.
Right.
So in a way, maybe it makes me more heterosexual.
And more noble. What do we have, 6 divisions or 8? I always forget. 6. So the top 6 division winners get the top 6 seeds, and then the other 10, it's a free for all, and you just do one place 16.
I'm so slow to come around these things. I don't want. I mean, a first round series where, the number 1 team in the West is playing Atlanta. It doesn't work for me. I just don't like it. I mean, I see the sense in it, but well,
I'm for anything that could potentially lead to office pools. I think if they had the 1 through 16 system, that's just enough for an office pool, I think. Maybe you have a couple variables.
It's been so long since I've been in a real office environment. I guess I'm struggling to see the days the NBA generates office pool buzz.
You've been a long time defender of the NBA quality over college. You've never been a big college fan. In fact, you were openly mad at me last year that I spent so much time watching college basketball. But in my defense, the NBA was so bad last season during the regular season that I gravitated toward college hoops. This year, it seems like the NBA has just reclaimed the throne. Like college basketball, the first 4 days of March Madness were really good as far as the tournament goes. And still, if you watch these NBA games, the last 3 days, there's no contest. It's just it's a superior product. So do you feel a little vindicated?
Well, no, because I've always been, I know nobody's ever going to understand me. I mean, I only like the NBA, English soccer, and tennis. So I understand that that's a pretty rare trifecta that no one in the ESPN universe has a hope of understanding. But
tennis?
That was actually one of my first loves.
I'm with you, but I gave up on tennis around the time that Sampras was winning all the majors.
Well, I think we'll save that. We'll save the tennis debate for another day. But as far as college college versus pros. I mean, look, I have to preface anything I say by pointing out that I did go to Omaha with my beloved Cal State Fullerton Titans last week. First college regional I've been to in probably 15 years. My school had not been there for 30 years, so I was absolutely in heaven. But I had a rooting interest. I mean, that's my school, and I am the proudest Fullerton alumnus there is. I mean, if you don't have, for me, from my perspective, if you don't have a rooting tie like that or a bracket in your hand, you know, I don't know how you could find that more appealing. I mean, atmosphere. I mean, are you watching? You know, I hear people say the atmosphere is so much better. Well, do you watch games for atmosphere or the basketball?
That's true.
It's boys versus men. I mean, it's not even. I don't even see how you can make the comparison.
Well, you left out a gambling problem as the third reason to be involved in March Madness. But I'm with you. You know, it's exciting and anybody can win. It's unpredictable, but the bottom line is, if you really watch these college games carefully, it's a lot of bad possessions, a lot of 3-point shots with 4 seconds left in the shot clock, and it's very disjointed. It's just not, you know, you watch somebody like Chris Paul run the Hornets, and then you watch one of these college point guards trying to run their team, and it's no comparison.
Yeah, I mean, you know, because again, the only college hoops I'll ever watch is Fullerton. So I've seen us play maybe 3-4 times this season, and I genuinely love my school, love my program, love some of the guys there, would do anything for it. But just trying to watch the games objectively, it just seems like a negative kind of basketball. There's so much time spent with the ball 30 feet away from the basket.
I agree.
I don't understand why they spend so much time way out there doing nothing as far as attacking the basket. Whereas in the NBA, you know how, I mean, it's, you know, pick and roll, get to the goal, and, you know,
I think what's going to happen is eventually all these teams are going to emulate what Memphis did, where, you know, basically running the Warriors type offense, where you just have guys slashing and kicking, and that's where it goes. But, you know, they're not going to do it as well as.
Well, I couldn't name a single player on this team, but isn't Duke running Phoenix's offense this year? Didn't Krzyzewski go to Suns camp to take D'Antoni's offense? I thought that was the...
Allegedly, but they didn't have Steve Nash running it.
small problem.
Who's your MVP right now? 3 weeks to go.
I'm going Kobe at this point.
Wow, really?
To me, you know, I wanted to do the easy thing and boil it down to Kobe and LeBron, but then Chris Paul is just, God, he's been good this year. It's just, there's no way he can be excluded. And then with your Celtics, I know it's hard to pinpoint one guy, but with what they're doing, I think KG has to be in there. So those are my four. But at this point, Kobe's my leader. He's everything we've asked him to do all these years since Shaq left. He's doing it. And last night, they're winning. Look at the games they've won just here in the last week without the two big guys. He's my guy right now with what do we got, 15 games to go, a little bit less.
So you're giving him a career achievement MVP?
No. I mean, he's the best player in the game.
Is he though?
Yes. Who do you got, LeBron?
Well, no. See, this goes back. Bucher and I argued about this a couple weeks ago when we didn't include you in the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for that, by the way.
It depends on what your definition is. I mean, most valuable or most outstanding. I feel like Chris Paul, unquestionably, is the most valuable player to any NBA team in the league. If you remove him from their team, they become a 25-win team. Whereas if you remove Kobe from the Lakers and replaced him with Desmond Mason, I still think they win 40 games. Like they have a talented team, especially with Gasol now. If you had Gasol back and Bynum back, and you just replace Kobe with Desmond Mason, that's a pretty good team still.
Well, I think when I do it, a couple other factors come into play for me. Best season, who had the best season? And I think Kobe is having the best composite season. And being the best teammate is I mean, let's face it, that's how Nash won two. Nash won two because he was the best teammate in the league.
But if Nash won two, and Chris Paul is having a better season than Nash did in either of the two MVP seasons, doesn't he have to be the MVP?
Look, if the Hornets win the West, Paul probably, I probably change my mind. But right now, on the assumption that the Lakers are going to finish higher up the scale, and I think Kobe, not just for what he does statistically and and how good he is as the most feared player in this league. As reprehensible as some of the stuff he did in the summer might have been, and quitting on his team as some people have accused him of doing, and all that stuff since opening night when they told him, look, we're not trading you, stay here. He's been a great leader. And I think even though Phil Jackson's system has made it easy for Pau, Kobe has to get some of the credit for making Pau's transition so easy. And I do give points for that when I'm doing it.
Okay, here's my defense for Chris Paul. First of all, I think he means just as much to the Hornets as the Lakers does, as Kobe does to the Lakers. Second, Kobe not only has a better team, but has Phil Jackson, and has a home court advantage that matters versus Chris Paul, Byron Scott. We're not quite sure if I guess he is a good coach then, because he made 2 finals.
I think Byron's way underrated. I mean,
And I thought he had some shaky moments in 2002 and 2003, but I guess now you'd have to consider him a decent coach. But they really had no home court advantage until the last month. And then, to get something out of that supporting cast that really went about 6 deep until they made that Bonzi Wells trade. I don't know. I don't see how he doesn't get it.
I think the Hornets don't play with the same kind of expectations. I mean, I think Kobe has a lot more to live up to. I think that's a factor. I think defenses can key on him even more. I mean, nobody's found an answer for Paul. Kobe's played hurt. That injury, I mean, let's face it, LeBron missed 8 games with whatever his hand injury was, and Kobe, delayed surgery and hasn't lost a step from what I can see. So,
all right, hold on. If you're going to play that card, you got to give it up to Chris Paul, because he had a severely sprained ankle in like the 4th or 5th week of the season and came back within a game and limped around for a month. I do have a crazy pick for you.
Okay.
I think DJ Mabenga is going to be the Finals MVP.
Actually, I view myself as the frog of ESPN and now the prince of the National Football League's network.
This is an emotional homecoming for you, this podcast.
It is. It's first time I've been on ESPN.com on the front page of ESPN.com in quite some time.
Yeah.
But it just shows you and everyone the power of the sports guy to be able to wield whatever you wield to get this done.
Thank you. When you left, I remember there was that emotional Jeff Buckley video, the last goodbye.
Yep.
Just scenes, 5 minutes of you cracking wise on SportsCenter.
Yeah.
I remember getting teared up.
Yeah, I remember that too.
But you look back and you lived in Bristol.
Yes, I did.
And now you live in Los Angeles.
I do.
I'm going to say that's better.
That would be considered an upgrade in many people's eyes. Yes.
Many, not all, but many.
No. You know what? That's true. But, it's crazy. I'm coming up my 5-year anniversary of my final Sports Center. Coming up 5 years.
I read about it in Sports Illustrated this week. They had a big feature on it.
I must have missed that issue.
Yeah,
must have missed that issue. It's been 5 years since I last played Fact or Fiction for real, like on the record. You know what I mean?
But you still play it in your home life.
I do, just to continue, and I have somebody play the Salisbury character, even though he's gone too. Who's still there, Bill? Who's still there? Anybody?
A lot of people are still there. It's a new breed, new genre.
Fantastic.
We have this new building opening up in Los Angeles, though.
I know, right across the street from Staples Center.
It could be time for a Rich Eisen comeback. Round two. Yeah. It's going to be a nice location.
I couldn't believe that ESPN is going to open up something in Los Angeles. I can't believe the umbilical cord goes that far.
It does. And that's what's actually taken so long to build the building, is that they actually had to build an umbilical cord that went from
to last that long, and they had to build underground.
Words.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And I don't know how many Hartford to Los Angeles direct flights there are anymore. There used to be some back when I did it.
Well, you know what? I'm going to say it's worked out for you, because the NFL Network, although I currently don't get it because I have Time Warner.
Unbelievable.
The NFL Network.
Didn't you used to get it?
Well, I have DirecTV, but we moved and we can't get DirecTV with this new house I have, so we're going to have to figure out what I'm going to do. Basically, I don't know what I'm going to end up doing, but it will definitely be illegal.
Well, what you can do also is the invite always is there for you to come down to the NFL Network studios in Culver City and watch the games with us. And
I tried that once, but my electronic tracking bracelet went off, and I was getting electrocuted.
You know what? Actually, I do this fantasy focused podcast. We do it every single day.
Yep.
Available at the same place the BS Report is at Pod Center.
You've almost turned into the Truman Show.
Yeah.
2 more hours per day of content, and you would become Truman.
I know. It really is. They are earning. ESPN is getting every last penny out of me. Make no mistake.
You're like one of those cows that has like 9 nipples being milked at once by 10 farmhands.
I like that. I am the 9-nipple cow. ESPN's 9-nipple cow.
Yeah.
You always see the three of them together, and it's partially because of his kind of personality that Garnett's like, it's not just all about me. He's totally selfless. He's a class act, but it's Garnett, Pierce, and Ray Allen.
Okay, I'll concede that became the case in about February.
Right.
But in October, November, and
10
December,
years from now, you're going to think about those 3 guys.
No, I'm just saying in October, November, December, KG and the Celtics were the dominant story in the league. And for some reason, with the MVP and just in general.
See, I disagree with that, too, by the way.
Why?
I think they were the dominant story in your mind. No, the dominant story in the league during that time was the Pau Gasol trade and the Lakers and what they did. Hang on.
It didn't happen till the Super Bowl, though.
You just said January, February, March.
No. I said October, November, December.
All right, so that was around.
Who was on the cover of every magazine?
At the beginning of the year, they were the big story after their hot start, but then the Rockets, the Rockets were a big story, and of course that whole win streak.
That happened in February.
All right.
Ask me this: did you see a magazine before the season that didn't have the Celtics on the cover?
No, of course not.
They were the number one story. They had the most.
Of course, because they're such a crappy franchise, and they hijacked 3 guys.
Well,
Two
they
guys.
didn't. I mean,
2 guys. They had Pierce.
They went, and then they go 30-3.
Right.
And everybody's talking about the Celtics are back. Are they for real?
Right.
And then starting in about mid-January or late January with the Gasol trade, the Houston streak, the Shaq trade, the Jason Kidd trade.
Right.
They got pushed out of the landscape, and now it's like KG. It never happened. That's the part I don't get.
Okay, but then how can you, when you say 10 years from now, who will be the first player that pops into your head? So how can you even answer? So for 2 months, they were the hot thing. You know what? For 2 months, Greg Oden was the hot thing until he went down with an injury.
They won 66 games.
Great.
What more did you need from the season?
They won 66 games, and at least 5 of them were against quality opponents. But what do you think the Lakers or any of the teams in the West would have done in the East? You realize the team that didn't make the playoffs in the West,
more games.
The Golden State Warriors would have been the 3rd seed in the East, right?
It's 20 more games.
All right.
It's the difference of. So you're saying that the Lakers, instead of going 13-7 in the 20 extra games they played in the West, would have gone 19-1 in the 20 extra games against the East? Because that's the only way that argument makes sense.
Something like that would have been real close.
So instead of winning 55 games, they would have won 60.
62, 63?
I don't see it. And more importantly, I don't see the Kobe MVP thing because what I thought was really interesting.
You take Kobe away from that team is screwed.
How about this?
That team's screwed. Odom's great, Gasol's great, he's got better role players about him, but trust me when I tell you, you take Kobe Bryant away from the Lakers, that team is screwed. You take LeBron James away from the Cavs, that team is screwed. You take Kevin Garnett away from the Celtics, that team screwed, yes, but not nearly to the extent the other two because they're in the East, because of Ray Allen and Paul Pierce, because they've got some nice role players.
Are you taking them away the whole year, or are you taking them away like right now?
Take away the whole year.
Well, if you take away KG the whole year, then the Celtics are what they were last year. They would have won 24 games.
Same with what do you think the Lakers would have won without Kobe this year?
I watched the Lakers beat Denver handily in Game 1 of Round 1 of the playoffs in a game where Kobe went 9 for 26, shot 13 free throws, had 1 assist, and had no impact on the game other than negative.
Oh, completely. First off, no, that's outrageous. How do you watch basketball? What do you time out?
I watched that whole game.
I did too, and how you can say that guy has no impact on the game?
I'm saying he had a bad game. He had
a bad shooting game. No. He had a bad shooting game, but did you see Pau Gasol not have to take a shot beyond a foot and a half from the basket? He was wide open so many times, and that's because of the ball movement, and that's because of the defensive pressure that Kobe takes. They had 2 guys on Kobe a lot of the time. They had to always account for where he was. Pau Gasol got tons and tons of looks.
The Lakers fans can even make excuses for Kobe when he has a bad game. Oh, but he created the scoring opportunities for Gasol just by being on the court.
Yes, he did. You have to account for him.
It's like the Bill Brasky skit on SNL. Kobe could jump 10 feet. Unbelievable.
Well, stop it.
Kobe had a terrible game in Game 1. You cannot tell me he did not have a terrible game.
He didn't have a great. He did not have
4 points in the first half,
and still finished with what, 30?
Because he took 26 shots and 14 free throws. Congratulations.
Yeah, you know what? And they blew it out, and he made it. Trust me. Kobe made some very tough shots. It's not all about offense. Kobe played very well. He played good defense.
Very well. He didn't play good defense. This guy was scoring on him. I mean, it's just such horse crap. Everybody's afraid to call this guy out.
Call this guy out. He's the best player on the planet.
Oh,
he's the best player on the planet.
I love how it's like Kobe's playing team basketball this year. Oh, congratulations. Kobe's playing with his teammates. Let's give him the MVP award. Because he's a team player now.
Stop.
Oh, it's awesome. None of his teammates even make eye contact with him. It's awkward. How can you say that he has like a normal relationship with his teammates?
So wait a minute, time out. What is the MVP? Like, who's most like in the locker room? Who's the best guy to go hang with? Who's the best wingman at the clubs? What are you talking about? It's not about that at all. It's about what's on the court. If you want to talk about, like, you know who people love? People love Bruce Bowen. Is Bruce Bowen the MVP?
Everybody hates Bruce Bowen.
I know.
I think even his teammates hate him.
I think so, too. I was trying to think of someone everyone liked.
Well, like everybody loves Sam Cassell.
Everyone loves Sam Cassell. There you go. Everyone loves Shaq, actually. People love Shaq in the locker room.
Did you watch Game 1 of the Celtics-Hawks series?
No, because I knew the outcome of it. But you're right. Kevin Garnett, blowing past Al Horford. Woo! He's awesome. A team that's below 500.
That everything that team does feeds off him. Emotionally, the defense. He's their only low post scorer.
Emotionally.
He is the guy that if you took off that team, they'd be a mess.
Oh, my God. Listen, I'll be the first to admit, I wear purple and gold colored glasses. Yeah. I bleed the purple and gold. I'm a huge Laker fan. I'm a season ticket holder for more than 10 years. I still have my season tickets even though I live here in Bristol now. But I got to tell you something. When it comes to homerism, I'm nowhere compared to you, dude. So they feed emotionally off of him. Hey, Ray, can I get a hug? Hang on, let me see if KG wants it.
Talk about intensity.
They feed emotionally. I don't high five unless KG's got my back.
What does
that mean?
Does intensity matter? Do you think Rajon Rondo becomes a good player without KG?
No, I don't think Rajon Rondo's a good player anyway.
Oh, see that? Now you've killed your argument.
You know what? And I actually had less of a problem with Chris Paul than I did of Kevin Garnett. Because to me, I think Chris Paul the Hornets just came out of nowhere, and the Hornets in the West with not a lot of depth there.
Right. Well, you watch the first two playoff games, and you can clearly see exactly how much he means to that team.
Yes.
How indispensable he is, and how everything feeds off him. And also, he's their emotional leader too, and I don't think you could say that about Kobe.
I know people you hate. We've had discussions about people you hate.
No,
we've had them off the air.
I hated the way he played. I thought he was selfish. I don't think he's as selfish as he was, but you watch a game like Saturday when Gasol has a big first half and then Kobe's got to get his in the second half. Like, I just thought that was interesting. Yeah, Kobe should not care if other guys score on his team.
No, and
he shouldn't have had to take 26 shots in that game, and he did. He took 16 shots in the second half because Gasol was having a great game.
No, that's not true at all.
That is true.
They finally started playing some defense on Gasol.
No, he keeps track of all that stuff. He loves having Gasol there, but he doesn't want Gasol to do better than him. He's too competitive.
Did you hear the part when Dick Stockton, in crunch time, when he called Joe Johnson Dennis Johnson?
He did. He's like, Dennis Johnson comes up the court. Yeah, I was worried that, after that, when the Celtics had they were down 3 and Atlanta was inbounding the ball, and I was afraid he was going to pull out the Johnny Most bird stole the ball if there was a steal by Pierce or something,
Yeah. Dennis Johnson killed me. He also called Al Horford Tito Horford in Game 2.
Did he really?
Yeah, a couple times. You'll find out as it goes on. Your kids go in stages with the shows. And right now, Zoe is just infatuated with Max and Ruby, who are these two sociopath bunnies that live in this house together and just get into trouble. And I just hear this song nonstop. I go to bed, I hear it. I wake up, I hear it. Because what you find is like your kid can eventually entertain themselves for at least like an hour. But you'll still hear the show in the background. You never get away from it.
Fantastic.
Yeah. I don't know what they did in the 50s before they had DVDs and stuff. I guess you had to interact with your kids.
I don't know, but I'm planning on watching The Wire with my daughter.
If it wasn't Gasol going, to L.A. and setting up this potential Boston Lakers rivalry and the whole thing, does the league potentially say, hey, this is fishy? Because they made the trade 3 weeks before the deadline. They did not really allow anybody else to bid on the guy. People didn't even know he was available.
It'll be more fishy when Memphis contracts in August and doesn't have a franchise anymore.
Well, you know what trade's bad? When you could take the opposing GM who made the trade, show him on the Jumbotron, and he'll get a standing ovation. That's the final side of a bad trade. Yeah. The guy's a hero in the town where he made the trade with the guy.
You know, I have friends who they're so devastated that the Patriots lost, and I'm like, hi, devastated? Devastated? We have won 3 Super Bowls in the last 7 years. 3. And to say that you're disappointed, wish it didn't happen, went to the game, spent a lot of money, wish I saw a win so I could say I was there. To say you're devastated, that's 86 Red Sox devastating.
I have bad news for you.
You were devastated.
Well, here's why. Because it was my dad's 60th birthday gift, and he'd taken me to so many games over the years, and it was one of those things where I was able to work some connections and bring them, and we were going to see the 1900 season happen.
I'm talking to a guy who wrote a book called Now I Can Die in Peace.
I know, no, but I'm just saying, I never saw it coming. I think anytime you don't see something coming as a sports fan, it's going to be, there's going to be ramifications, and I agree with you.
You didn't think that when they had 2 minutes and 20 seconds left, after Moss gets the touchdown, that you didn't think that you didn't see something coming, you didn't feel something bad, you didn't think
I was worried.
A lot of time.
I was worried that there was too much time left, but I took solace in the fact that Eli Manning was the Giants quarterback. And you know what else? I was feeding off the Giants fans, and there were a lot of Giants fans there. The Giants fans were not confident. It was not like, you go back and you watch Game 4 of the 2004 LCS, and you'll notice a strange, kind of surreal sense of confidence with the Fenway fans, and all of them stayed. All of them were really hoping that they could turn it around. Giants fans not confident, and then that helmet catch happened. The helmet catch happened, and the switch went off, and all the Giants fans were like, "Oh my God, we might win this!" And you could just feel it, and you could feel something horrible was going to happen.
And it did.
Yeah, it did. It did.
But you were devastated, like you couldn't get out of bed, kind of like the next day?
No, because I had to write a column the next day. So sometimes I go into that Kobe mode where I just become cold and I shut off all emotion. And 2 days later, I got sick. And I was the most sick I think I've ever been in my life. I was sick for 3 days. I had 104 fever, and I'm convinced it was because of the game.
Oh, man.
I really am. It actually made my body sick. It gave me a cold.
Yeah.
So, yes.
Professional sports, it's beautiful. My kids do memory lessons by naming the Red Sox lineup.
What are some other tricks?
You just buy them a ton of jerseys, and you tell them they can't have any candy unless they root for the Red Sox.
Yes, I agree with you. Because everyone was always like, well, what if the kid, decides they like the Yankees to try to get back at you? And to me, that's a kid that just hasn't been disciplined enough.
Well, how about this? Then you just really, you haven't been doing very good parenting if they don't want to hang around and be like you. I mean, if what they want to do is be angry at you, then what are you doing?
Whatever perceived flaw they had that people talk about with being clutch or not being clutch goes up.
And that's one thing that I really have enjoyed about these finals. And it's the thing that, to me, most confirms the fact that everybody should stop talking about MJ and Kobe. I don't want to hear those two names in the same sentence ever again. MJ never had 2 games in a row like Kobe had in Boston. So can we please stop that?
Yeah, it's true, especially not in his prime.
Not in his prime, exactly.
And MJ worked the refs, but he never let the refs take him out of what he was trying to do and never actually got affected by the refs.
He also had Plan B and Plan C. I mean, if Kobe's having a hard time scoring the basketball in Game 1, why isn't he posting up Ray Allen? Why aren't they figuring out a way to get him the ball in the low post?
It's true. You're right. MJ had Plan A, and then Plan B was post up. Plan C was just, I'm going to take it to the hoop every time and get fouls.
Yeah, that's
right.
And
Kobe sticks to Plan A. And if Plan A is not working, he just gets mad at the refs. And I've written about this a million times, but the defining MJ game for me was Game 7 of the '98 Eastern Finals against Indiana, when he had dead legs, wasn't making his shot, and just was like a running back the last 10 minutes. Just, I'm getting the basket, I'm getting the rim, and you guys are going to have to foul me and put me to the line. And he did it. I don't see that from Kobe yet. I don't see that intensity. I don't see that wherewithal that, okay, this is the only way I'm going to get points in this game, so I got to do it.
Yeah, the flash of intensity, and you mentioned this in the column a couple days ago, was, for 7.5 or 6.5 minutes at the end of the fourth quarter of Game 2. If we'd seen that in Game 1, might have brought about a different outcome. And for sure, the entirety of Game 2, if that had been going on, it might be a little bit different scenario than right now. And people wouldn't be talking about the foul discrepancy from Game 2 because he would have got to the free throw line another 10 times.
Maybe you could lure an NBA team, like the Brooklyn Nets. Maybe they're not crazy about Brooklyn. Attendance is down,
I think
I could hang with Jay-Z. It would be good.
I think mayor is more realistic for you than governor.
You think?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if I brought the Whalers back, mayor's a layup. The problem with that is I don't actually live in Hartford right now, so I couldn't be the mayor. That's why, governor, come on.
Yeah, but you
don't think all of Connecticut would be fired up about having like a Stanley Cup champion here?
But if you had all that money to buy the team, wouldn't you get a second place in Hartford so you can be eligible to be the mayor?
That wouldn't be a problem, I guess, but I'd rather be the governor.
I don't know. There's something funny you being, you'd walk in a room and they'd be like, the mayor of Hartford, John O'Connell, and everybody would applause. I don't know, Governor O'Connell. I guess it does sound a little bit more
You think that's a little
weighty.
too serious for me, you think?
You're more of a mayor type.
All right.
You're more. Mayors, like, nobody really knows what they do. They just come in and tell stories.
That could be kind of great.
They drink every night. It's kind of in your wheelhouse.
Pretty much, yeah, that'd be good. That could be fun to be the mayor, sure.
I don't think out of all the things you laid out, I think the most realistic is Hartford getting a AAA team.
Yeah, they should.
They should have a AAA team.
Actually realistic. It'd be perfect for it, People would really, if we could ever get a AAA team for either the Red Sox, Yankees, or Mets, it would be huge. Red Sox, Yankees, obviously, would be
the Red Sox are locked into Pawtucket. I think the Yankees could be a little more realistic, though, right?
Yeah, they're in Trenton. Trenton Yankees. No, they're in Scranton Wilkes-Barre. I'm sorry, Scranton.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
No sense at all.
But do you have a baseball stadium?
What's that?
Do you have a baseball stadium?
No, this is a minor problem. We have the UConn football stadium. That's actually too big, though.
How hard could it be to build? I mean, if
you need like a 25,000 seat stadium for AAA, right?
Yeah, but if Lowell could build one, then Hartford could build one.
Absolutely.
I think
the problem is that there's the Twins AA team, the New Britain Rockettes is in New Britain, and they always claimed like it was their like territory when Hartford had visions of getting a AAA team or a AA team, but they were like, we own the market. So, but I think if you were upgrading it to a AAA team, I think that would like trump the AA market, certainly,
Well, the other thing
which is why they would fight it.
You could just go to war with them, like have an actual war.
An actual war with Hartford, New Britain.
Yeah, just send all the Hartford people over to fight with New Britain.
All right, that's what we could do.
Let me tell you something. If the town of New Britain, which is really a town and not even a city, thinks that it's in everybody's best interest for them to block Hartford having a AAA team because they have a AA team, that's ridiculous.
Now, see, if I was the mayor, I could certainly advocate the war between Hartford and New Britain, but as the governor, I kind of have to embrace all the towns of Connecticut. So
That's true.
Torn.
Yeah, that is true.
I'm torn here.
Well, you know what? I need new sports dreams, and now one of my sports dreams is for
Hartford to get a AAA team?
Yeah, for Hartford to get a AAA team and for them to play on John O'Connell Way. I think would be two of the greatest things that happened.
Didn't they name, like, the Padres when they had Jack Murphy Stadium? Wasn't he, like, a sports writer, and he advocated for the Padres, San Diego getting a major league team?
Yeah.
I think that's why they called it Jack Murphy Stadium. So maybe they could call it, JackO Stadium here in Hartford.
Well, I love the fact that we have a Yawkey Way.
Right.
At Fenway.
For the bitter racist cheap
guy told Willie Mays to get off the field, or whatever that story was.
Yeah, exactly.
We had one black guy every year for when I was a kid. Yeah. Hey, let's name a street after him.
They had their first black player in, 1979. Yeah.
We had Pumpsy Green. We were the last team that had a black guy. And then I think they only allowed, one or two each year.
Wasn't it literally, in 1958, 10 years after Jackie Robinson?
Oh, it was it was either 58 or 59. It was 12 years after, I think. Yeah, it is not a good history. No. And unfortunately, people still tie Boston into that stuff today when, you have Kevin Garnett's probably or Paul Pierce are as popular as anybody right now.
And the Celtics were the first team to start 5 African Americans, I believe, right?
Yeah, back in the 60s.
Right.
Well, that was another weird thing about the Celtics thing that I didn't even pick up on the whole year, which was that every key guy in the team in the 10-man rotation was black.
Yeah.
It was something that nobody ever made a big deal out of. It just kind of happened. So I thought for Boston that was some good progress.
Yeah, everybody has wearing Garnett jerseys and Pierce jerseys.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. Like, as late as the early 90s, you had the D. Brown Wellesley situation. And
yeah.
But I think the racist tag is just out the window.
And Ortiz and Manny are hugely popular.
Yeah, Ortiz and Manny. I mean, all the Patriots, it's stupid. But,
yeah.
Did I tell you about the fantasy draft I was in with Kobe Bryant?
You did not tell me this. This is outrageous. Did you say anything to him? Were you in the same room as him?
It was a 15-round draft, and he didn't like his team. About 11 rounds in, he quit.
What draft is this?
I made that up. I just felt like making fun of Kobe Bryant.
Yeah, because that doesn't sound like Kobe, because he's such a competitor.
Yeah, except for the clinching games of 2006 and 2008, when he clearly quit. I mean, you could admit that he quit.
His entire team quit on him. Kobe was the only guy trying out there.
Kobe, stop trying.
Say what you want. I'll tell you this much. Kobe has never left the floor being carried off by teammates only to come back 30 seconds later. He's never been needed to be helped off of a floor.
It's so sad that the Lakers fans are holding that. He thought he was hurt.
He thought he was hurt. Kobe's smart enough to know when he's actually hurt, when he can walk and when he can't walk. Say what you want about Kobe Bryant, but he knows when he can stand up on 2 legs and when he cannot.
He quit two of their last 3
no one's ever stabbed him.
Fair point. I mean, I have a lot of artillery I could bring back, but I'm going to hold off because odds are they'll delete it.
Vince Verhey went through and looked at who defeated the hardest road on the way to winning the Super Bowl and the most unlikely based on how good they had been during the regular season, based on the Pythagorean wins, which is just based on. It sounds more complicated than it is. It's just based on points scored and allowed.
So you had
the Giants were like the most unlikely Super Bowl of all time by a ridiculous amount because not only were they the weakest team to ever win the Super Bowl and one of the weakest teams to ever make it, but they also beat like the second hardest run of teams except for the 76 Raiders.
Right. Well, we added the 42 Super Bowl champions, by far, they were the most improbable. We won't use luckiest. You'll say improbable.
And the funniest thing is, when you first read that chapter in the book, you said to me, yeah, Bill, another Patriots fan like us. And the funny thing is the chapter is written by Bill Barnwell, who is actually our resident Giants fan.
Oh.
He was very happy about the result, but he also wanted to, make sure people understood what it really meant. It didn't mean the Giants were better. It only meant that they were better for one day and not by that much.
Joe, I think this guy's too far gone, Bill. The only thing I could say, Joe, is the only advice I can give you, 2-team teaser, New England, Dallas. You'll have a little money in your pocket to pay for flowers and whatever.
All right, Joe, we did our best. Listen, we wish you years and years of marital bliss.
I appreciate it. I tried to work in the Kirilenko clause.
Which was interesting.
She wasn't having that. Threatened to go Jackie Christie on me.
Yeah, get back to us next week, Joe. Let us know if we did any good.
So good. No, he's not going to be there next week.
Oh, really? Well, maybe he will. I'm hoping he reconsiders.
Are you going to be there next week, Joe?
I'll be available to call into the show, but I'll be out at Lake Erie.
Wait, did you have a bachelor party?
We had a little something the last weekend.
A little something? Interesting.
A little something.
You don't want to give out any details. Please tell me that little something didn't happen in West Hartford.
No, it was low key in New York City. We went to the U.S. Open.
Oh my God! All right, I'm hanging up.
We'll see you next week in the BS Report.
And Monday night, Philly at Dallas.
It's a nice game.
It's a good Monday night.
That is a good game.
Yeah.
Hey, dog, that is a great game. That is a huge, huge game.
Here's how great it is. Even my family respects it. I'm a big Cowboys fan, and the wife and kids are coming back from a 4-day trip to Disney World, and they'll be landing somewhere in the fourth quarter of that game.
And what's going to happen?
Well, I'm just going to say, honey, just hang out in the duty-free shop for about an hour while the game finishes up. Teach the kids to smoke or something.
Jackie, our producer. Are you there?
Yes, but sorry, Bill, it's Jacqueline.
Jacqueline. I can't call you Jackie?
No.
We're not that close yet. I was terrified of Sproles in that game. Like, I was happy when they brought in Michael Turner. And I just thought that was interesting that he was the third string back in that team, and yet he was the guy that I kind of feared, you know?
You know, because you use common sense.
What about the run and gun Broncos?
I don't see how it lasts. Because as great as they are on offense, they're really bad on defense. I think you and Cousin Sal run faster than Dre Bly right now.
Mr. Rich Eisen, how's it going?
Fine. How you doing, man?
You're a new dad.
I am.
Welcome to the club.
Thank you. He's 7 weeks old today. He's a very masculine child.
The Rams.
Yeah.
They have made a quarterback change. They're going with Trent Green.
That's a shocker.
Big story of the day.
I cannot imagine that's going to be any change. I cannot imagine that Mark Bolger is the reason? Is the reason for this team's, utter and complete disastrous breakdown. I mean, I know they haven't been putting points up on the board. I think they've been outscored, I think, 72-19, and that they, in the shocking stat of Week 3, didn't reach the red zone in 2008 until I think the second quarter of their game against the Seahawks this weekend.
Is that true?
That is a true story. They didn't get in the red zone the first 2 weeks of the season. It's a shocking stat of the year.
I'm trumping you with the shocking stat of the year.
And that is?
The 07 Patriots offense through 3 games, and the 08 Broncos.
Yes.
Identical stats, points, yards, everything.
It's shocking to see empty seats in Arrowhead. I mean, you never see that. Ever.
Yeah, but here's the question, though. Is it really even that fun to go to a football game? When you just to go, I mean, the tailgating part's fun, but if you're going to see a crappy team and you had these 5-minute TV timeouts and all this stuff, and your team's going to lose by 20, and you're paying $100 and $50 to park and $40 to eat food, like, what's fun about that?
You're asking the anchor of NFL Network if it's fun to go to a football game.
I was asking you about that suddenly vacant NFL Network job.
Yes.
You were like political, personal, and then basically you confessed you almost had an orgasm on the air. You really wanted the job. And
well, I hate to tell you, it wasn't almost. I did have one, and I don't know if it made the final cut of our podcast. But
I found that the la and the duh is really going in directions that delight me to no end.
Yeah, like Zachary and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's like really there's no rules anymore with the la and the duh and the ma. If you go in any conceivable direction, like you could have a guy now on the Jaguars named LaSteve,
right?
And you don't even think twice.
Like LeJohn McCain.
LeJohn McCain, that's
something
a good
like
one.
that.
I tried to watch it last year with Corolla, and it just, it didn't take. I got nothing against Dancing with the Stars. It's just not in my.
Did you go?
House.
Did you go?
I did not go.
I've actually been to one because I went Emmett a couple of years ago to show some support. And my wife said that we needed to dress up for it. We needed to get in like evening wear.
Really?
And I told her, "You're crazy. This is California. Everyone wears jeans. There's no way." And she said, "I'm telling you." And I'm like, "Let's go." So we went in jeans, and we show up, and everybody's in evening wear. And the producers of the show are going to sit me and my wife Susie right in the front of the tables because that's the set. It just looks like like it's a cabaret or whatever.
Right.
And they had to stick us behind a table because we had to hide our jeans.
As somebody,
there's a certain sort of highbrow nature to this that I think you're poo-pooing, Bill.
I can't even imagine how mad your wife was about this.
She was livid.
Because I know if that was my wife and it was just we were going to some Christmas cocktail party, it would have been like 3 weeks of her just bitching about it.
She was definitely, Bill. She was not pleased with me.
Because that only has.
I'm like, you're kidding me. We got to dress up, but she was right. I was wrong.
You're hitting the trifecta of marital arguments there because you have the I told you factor being thrown in your face, followed by the you embarrassed me factor, and then the it would have been so much more fun if this had happened factor. And that's a disaster. You're in almost a marital counseling after that.
That is the trifecta. People should get on the John Hamm bandwagon right now. You're right. I agree.
It's a great show, and if that's not enough, they're very good-looking women. So even just on that, if you're horny, just watch Mad Men.
If nobody knows who January Jones is, just one episode of watching Mad Men will make you know.
And the redhead.
I'm not kidding. An hour and a half of between Adam Carolla, our friend Kevin Hedge, and Dave Damashek going over the origin of Buffalo Bill and where Buffalo Bill came from, and it wasn't even settled. Oh, it was all people like walking out of the room, jumping out of windows. It was terrible. Did you read this morning? Al Davis tried to fire Herm Edwards, but the league said no, you're not allowed to do that. You're not. It's not your team.
Clinton Lewinsky, I think, is up there only because once we saw what she looked like, it was so disappointing.
That was the real scandal.
The Jeff Ross thing was your finest accomplishment.
I just think that it played out in front of so many people, even though they weren't aware of what was going on. It was it was spectacular, and he won't speak to me still. So
yeah, of all the horrible things you've done, you'll never have a bigger audience.
Yeah, I don't know if people know, but Jeff, I didn't even know, but I assumed he was getting voted out, and I texted him and said, because I work for ABC, he thinks that maybe I knew something. I texted him and said, no, don't worry, buddy, you're sticking around. I have inside information. He said, are you sure? I said, positive. And then he said everything but effing Sal when they announced that he was getting off the air. I mean, you saw his jaw dropped.
Yeah, it was the definition of shell-shocked.
Yeah,
it really was. I urge everyone to YouTube. Is it on YouTube?
I think it might be on YouTube now, or it's at least on ABC.com. But this guy got a combined score of a 12 the night before. I hate to say it, but he's got a national Q rating of 0. I mean, I love the guy, but to be shocked and to believe me, I don't know.
What's more astonishing is that he believed you after 10 solid years of you tormenting him. Doing everything you could to make him miserable, and then he believed you.
I think he needed to believe it. He needed to believe it because there was no way in his mind he was going home. So
I'm going to say that his career wasn't really helped by Dancing with the Stars.
Well, we'll see.
Getting scratched in the cornea, wearing an eye patch, and getting voted off in 48 hours. I don't think there was the boost maybe he was looking for. All right, let's hit the Week 5 lines. I got to say, I was on fire last week with picks.
The Lions?
No, with picks. I went like 8-5 on my column, but two of the games I lost was the Carson Palmer exit stage right, which I never would have picked them if it was Fitzpatrick. And then I had the Eagles, and then Westbrook doesn't play. I never would have picked them. I would have taken the points. So I feel like I have a nice feel of the league right now. So
all right, good. Yeah. You beat me in an epic fantasy battle, 69-66 last night. So maybe it keeps going.
What's the opposite of epic?
Let me just say this, but because I had Derek Mason and I needed 17 points to beat you last night.
Yes, you
and
did.
He had 13. He didn't quite do it. But what kind of psychology is it that I also bet the under, and I had dozens of dollars. You know how I bet. I had literally dozens of dollars on the under 34.5. And yet when it's 20-13, I have all this money on the under. All I want is for Derek Mason to score a touchdown so I could beat you.
That's interesting.
How does that work? It's crazy. Maybe if my bookie were text messaging me every 3 minutes, like you did, taunting me about the game, it would be different. But
I wasn't taunting you. I was saying that I was going to quit the league if Derek Mason got 17 fantasy points for the first time in his life.
I know. Well, that's taunting. I'm like, wow, I can get Simmons to quit the league. I really have to pay attention now. They occur when T.O. gets no fewer than 32, 33 receptions a game. I mean, that guy needs to get the ball more.
I thought you were going the other way. I thought you were going to say when he doesn't get a lot of touches, it's usually better for them.
Well, it certainly did work week 2. Well,
do you get enough touches right now, you think?
Do I?
Yeah, you get enough touches in general in life?
Yeah. I don't need any more than 0. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So Philly at Washington.
By the way, is Marvin Lewis, is he George Costanza and that he just can't get fired no matter what he tries? I mean, Pete Rose, Cincinnati's favorite son, must be like, what is going on here? If anyone's betting on games, it's Marvin Lewis. This is a terrible team.
I had, I think in 2003, right before they fired Jim Haslett, I was making jokes about things Jim Haslett, first of all, how is he not fired? But things he would have to do maybe to force their hand, show up for the game, not wearing pants, stuff like that. I think Lewis is at that point.
Yeah, no kidding. Years ago.
betting on the other team, then announcing in the press conference.
This is a lousy game, but at least finally we get to see that Mike Holmgren and Andy Reid are not the same person.
No, Andy Reid is now much fatter, Mike Holmgren.
He is obese by
he is big.
by NFL coach standards.
Yeah, we had an argument about this last week, and one of our friends pointed out that he's obese by NFL standards, but by college standards, not obese.
That's right. As long
There's
as,
much fatter guys in college.
As long as Mangino for Kansas is still alive, he's off the hook.
Which is a week-by-week thing.
We'll check in. But Atlanta at Oakland.
Holy mackerel, these games are just terrible.
I know.
Damashek, before this game last week when Roethlisberger really crapped the bed, is making he's definitely the MVP. Oh, who is a better candidate than 7?
Oh, my God.
He's doing that whole thing, and none of us even really knew how to react.
I know. I didn't hear that one.
You didn't hear that one?
I thought that was shtick. He was being serious?
No, he was being dead serious. He really legitimately believed that 7 was the MVP. He had held the team together, all the injuries. He just played out of his mind, magnificent, et cetera, et cetera. And then he threw 4 interceptions.
Out of his mind is right. That's that's bad. I don't see him. Is he in the top 5 in the AFC? Well, I guess in a year that LT isn't doing anything and Peyton Manning has fallen off.
You're up 1-0. San Diego at Kansas City. Back to Sunday early afternoon now.
Man, if San Diego and Philly decided to suddenly be good again, that would screw up my December because I had written those teams off.
Oh, really? Well, I think Philly's probably good, but San Diego, I don't think you have much to worry about.
You don't think so?
No. They beat up on the Raiders, so I bet the Chiefs upset them this week. But what do you think the line is?
I'm going to say San Diego by 4.5.
You are funny.
Is that it again?
It's 4.5, yeah.
Oh!
I said 3.5.
Now it's like I'm trying to bowl a 300 in bowling. Let's see if this can keep going.
All right, let's keep rolling. Why not? Seattle at St. Louis.
Oh, no. The wheels come off right here.
It's a must-lose for both of these.
It really is.
Well, honestly, if they're looking for a draft pick, the way I see it, they both need receivers, right?
Yeah.
And it sucks because, the Lions are going to take a receiver in the draft, so they're in no man's land right now.
I have no idea. I'm going to say Seattle by 3.
Okay. San Francisco at Miami.
Did I hit that one?
Yeah, you got it.
What did you say?
Seattle by 3. I said by 2. This is really just admit that let's just do this the right way, where we really don't look at the lines ahead of time.
I swear on my children's lives that not only do I not look at the lines, but even if I accidentally click on a screen that might have a line, I throw my hands in front of my face like I'm looking at like some sort of horrible thing or something.
First of all, you swear on your children. You don't even like your children. You don't even bring them to Sunday.
No, I like one of them.
Sunday, and your hands are tiny. They're not going to cover the screen when you're covering. I don't like this at all. You understand? It's not fun when you look at the answers ahead of time. Like when Ben Stein would beat everyone. You have to lose every once in a while.
I swear.
All right. San Fran at Miami.
Oh, man. What did San Fran do last week? I forget.
They won. They're shutting everyone down defensively.
Who did they beat?
They beat the Jets last week?
That's right. They beat the Jets. So it's San Fran at Denver?
No, at Miami.
San Fran at Miami.
Well, I like how you pretend you don't even know the game. All right, go ahead.
Well, obviously this is going to be in the 6.5 to 7.5 range, so I'm going to say 7.5.
All right, I'm glad you didn't say 6.5 because it's 6.5. And I said 5, so you still get it. You're still a point. You're still
my God! Stop the bleeding. This is like De La Hoya Pacquiao. Do you quit in the 8th round?
I'm not going to answer the bell for the 9th pick. I'm not going to answer it. Let's see. All right, Tampa at Atlanta.
You know what's becoming clear is that one of the casinos should just hire me to do the lines.
Yeah, I guess so.
They'd save like $100 million on the computer system, and they could just call me at 10 o'clock. I'd give the line, and that would be it.
The only thing is they'd have to show you the line ahead of time for you to guess it.
That hurts. That hurts me.
The Army-Navy tradition is awful now, too. They should just on Thanksgiving have the Lions play Army. And you do it like at 5:30 in the morning when no one's watching, but you knock out 2 horrible traditions at once. Cleveland at Philly.
This is our Monday night?
This is Monday night.
Oh, my God. They should announce the coaches with a combined weight.
Oh, you're right. I didn't even think of that.
And at a combined weight of 820 pounds. This will set the record for most shots of a fat guy in a warm-up jacket staring out in the field.
I think the league has a sense of humor. They might do that because this is the fifth night game for Cleveland.
You and Bucher keep pushing this whole thing that Kid is like Gandhi in the locker room and all this stuff. If he was such like a fantastic locker room presence, why did Phoenix dump him? Why did the Dallas thing fall apart in '96? Why did the Nets Byron Scott?
And so you're going to ignore the fact that the Nets were, Clippers East for 15 years, and he put that team in the finals 2 years in a row.
Yeah. So then why did he basically get Byron Scott fired? I mean, we can all agree that his hands were all over that one, right?
All I know is you can say that it's me and Bucher pushing this agenda, but it's not. It's Kobe Bryant. It's LeBron James. Go to those guys. Get them on the Almighty podcast and then ask them about Kid. I mean, they still hold this guy in unbelievably high esteem.
Yeah, you know why? Because he doesn't shoot. He lives to make them look better. He's like a girlfriend that is just there to service your every need. Of course, I would love playing with Jason Kidd, too. He's going to take 4 shots in 40 minutes. Sign me up.
He's like a girlfriend there to service your every need.
Hey, this is a freewheeling podcast intended for mature audiences.
Jack goes to Walmart in Phoenix after pretty much every home game.
And what does he do?
He shops. He loves buying just little stuff. He'll buy all kinds of little trinkets, and he'll build stuff in our weight room. He'll create all this little just stuff just to kind of amuse himself or to actually handle some kind of a situation in the weight room. He built his own pair of shoes last year. He took a pair of shoes and he screwed in like these hooks into the side of the shoes because we do this exercise with an elastic band where guys wrap them around their ankles and then do kind of defensive slides to strengthen their glutes. So he actually built his own shoes to handle the band. I mean, he does all kinds of stuff like that. But the beautiful thing is he goes into Walmart and shops, and then what he does all the time is, this is late at night, it's midnight or whatever. He'll just tell the cash register person, just, hey, these next 10 people in line, I'll take care of it. I mean, he is Santa Claus year round. This guy is like the most generous person you've ever seen. And but he does it after almost every home game.
You might have to start drinking. You've spent your whole life really avoiding alcohol.
Yeah.
You don't like it. I think maybe you got to step in a little bit.
Let me do you one better. I'm in this. I don't know if your listeners know, but I'm an undefeated professional wrestler. I won a match in June.
Yeah.
I was trained by Roddy Piper, and since then I joined a football pool with a lot of wrestlers.
Yeah.
You pick 7 games a week against the spread, and I'm in with like the Briscoe brothers and Freebird Michael Hayes and JBL, and so anyway, I've picked all year long, and I was in first place the last month of the season, all 4 weeks. I had a 2-game lead over Brother Love. This sounds ridiculous, but it's true. I had a 2-game lead over Brother Love. He went 3-4. I had to go 1-6 to tie. 6-1. I went all 7 games. So
what's happened to your life?
I don't know.
You almost beat Brother Love in a football pool. You had your feud with Jeff Ross settled by Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
This has been quite a year for you.
You
pinned Santino, even though your brother screwed up the one thing he had to do in the match, or your cousin screwed up the one thing he had to do in the match.
Yeah, I won an Emmy somehow.
You won an Emmy. Was your second son born in this? No, he was born last year.
He was. Yeah.
He was born this year?
Yep.
Yeah. That's a big year.
Yeah.
And then you got murdered by your 2 teams.
Yeah, that's it. Well, that's one constant. That's not going to change.
Well, actually, before we get into playoff game stuff, I got to ask you, what am I going to do next year? They took away Herm is going to go. They took away Romeo. They took away Rod Marinelli. What do I do for comedy? I'm really only going to have Andy Reid left.
Well, it's a little bit like, in the 80s, you thought once those porn stars left, you'd find other porn stars. It's the same thing. You're going to find new stars somewhere.
So you think
let's face it, you're going to find somebody. I mean, you can adapt rather easily. There'll be somebody coming in that'll work into your Final Four fairly quickly.
Well, it looks like Wade Phillips might stay, which is good for me. And I think Norv potentially might stick around. But I need somebody to film the Herm unintentional comedy void, and I really need somebody to fill the Romeo Crennel just staring blankly ahead at the field and not moving void.